We got
John Morgan writes, "Hey AMC crew and council, you guys rock." John said on Jedi Council that there is starting to be too many books and comics that are Star Wars canon, and that there is starting to be multiple levels of canon. Most people already don't like the whole new canon thing, so why is canon even a thing? If everything from now on is canon, Disney just created a mess for themselves. So why can't the movies be the only canon, and then every other show, book, comic, or game be an opportunity for fans to create their own canon? I just think this much non-movie canon is going to come back and bite Disney in the butt. Thanks, and keep up the great work. Phase 3.
Yeah, I have always been concerned. Well, number one, I did like the fact that when Disney bought Lucasfilm, that one of the things that they did right away was instantly proclaim, just officially put a stamp on it. Hey guys, everything that's not the movies, not real. And they put this label on it called Legends. None of it was real. We always knew it wasn't real anyway, but they officially put the label on it. And I was intrigued by the notion that everything we do from now on, all the new books and all the new comics and all the new video games and obviously all the new movies are officially all canon. They all fit into each other. They're all canon now moving forward. That was an intriguing idea, but also one that concerned me. And I already this early on, the first movie isn't even out yet, and I'm seeing my concerns come to fruition. Yeah. We're already seeing like questions about certain things. We're seeing a few inconsistencies coming up, nothing major though. And here's my main concern, Maud, about this whole thing that everything is canon, including the comic books. And when you're saying that the comic books are canon, that means they have every bit level of authority as what happens in one of the movies. Here's my concern. Let's fast forward 5 years. Right? Maybe 4 years even. And let's say, I don't know, Matt Vaughn. Matthew Vaughn is directing a Star Wars movie.
This is your fantasy.
Right? Yep. It really is. Yep. Matthew Vaughn's directing a Star Wars movie, and he goes to Lucasfilm and goes, here's my treatment. This is what I want to do. This is my creative vision, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, Pablo Hidalgo, who's kind of the gatekeeper of canon at Star Wars, and somebody else at Lucasfilm sit down with Matt Reeves and goes, yeah, this looks like it would be a great movie. But we can't do what you want to do here. Because you see, 3 years ago in Princess Leia, issue number 5, the comic book that all 19,000 people read, Princess Leia in a conversation with some other dude said this, which completely contradicts with what you want to do with this movie. So now Matt Reeves' vision of the movie is compromised because of something in Princess Leia, issue number 4, a comic book that came out 3 years ago that 19,000 people read. To me, they've just set themselves up for problems. Look, I am proclaiming it a failure before they've even done it. So who knows? Maybe this thing does work out great and they're able to do it very smoothly and all that kind of stuff. But I think they have set themselves up for failure. I think within 2 or 3 years, we're going to hear them back down and say, okay, yeah, there are multiple levels of canon. There's, and that's what we had before, right? We had certain things were canon, but then there was only one G canon, and G canon meant George, which meant the movies, and I think we're probably going to slip back into that. I just feel like they set themselves up for failure. So I totally agree with what you're saying. Anyway, Maud, how do you, as a resident Star Wars nerd here,
fellow
how do you feel
member?
about that? Yeah, fellow council member.
Look, I do share some of your opinions with this. I think that by claiming everything to be factual and true now, when you are seeing comics and books and, so much
video
happening,
games.
Yeah, and then these are all different people working on it. So it's everyone's creative input that then defines particular characters and personality traits, et cetera, et cetera. I think that because they are coming out very, very fast, things that happen now, you're right, in 3-4 years down the track, they have to adhere to these strict guidelines. And this is already becoming a problem from the movies, the prequels and the original trilogy. You see things that weren't consistent from the original trilogy to the prequels, and that's jarring now, but they're both canon. So I feel like whatever they put out now almost is patchwork to try and either fix these particular problems or strict guidelines. And I think that if they keep putting out a book every 3 months, a comic book every week, 4 different
Titles?
Titles of comics now, and then the video games as well. You're right. There's just too many variables and something won't add up eventually. So I think unless they have a flexibility within the canon, or there's a bit of a gray, which ends up becoming layers of canon, as you say. And my favorite thing is, if you are a Jedi Council fan, you'll notice John will go
I smell.
What's that smell? I smell layers of Canon. That was a terrible John Campea impersonation, but
That was not bad. That was not bad, actually. That's a pretty good John Campea.
Well, one of the things that John Morgan asked was Disney's creating a mess for themselves. They are creating a mess, but it's a financially successful mess. I mean, the fact that you label something canon now means that more people want to buy the book because they want to be caught up with the movies, which is where my concern lies. Look, I love Star Wars made me the person I am today. I love those movies more than a lot of people that I know in my life. I do not read that many of the books. I read some when I was a kid. I read some of the comic books. I enjoy Star Wars Rebels. I'm here for the movies, mainly. When I go to Star Wars Celebration,
Amen.
I'm here for the films. Now, my concern is that now there's all this canon that's coming out even before The Force Awakens. So me, as somebody, I'm a busy guy. I know I don't look like it. I know I like naps. I'm a busy dude. I don't have time to sit down and read or even listen on audiobook to everything that's canon leading up to The Force Awakens. So when I go see The Force Awakens, am I going to have to know? Did I have to do homework before I saw any of these movies? That's my concern, is that I think it's great that you can immerse yourself as deeply as you want in the Star Wars universe. And I have faith in J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and everybody over there that they're doing this like Marvel does it, where you can be a huge comic book nerd or you can never have read a comic book called The Avengers and still enjoy the movies.
Yeah.
And I think what Jedi Council does, what you two and Christian do great so far, is that you guys appreciate all the canon, you devour the canon, but you don't spoil all the things that are in there, because sometimes the mysteries of a movie are the coolest things about it. Remember, we didn't know that Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father. We didn't know that Luke made out with his sister in
Jeez,
Empire
Mark,
Strikes
spoilers
Back.
for people. Come
Spoiler
on.
alerts, kids. But then all of a sudden, if Chewbacca shows up with fur that got dyed pink in Episode 7, did I have to read something? Or are they going to explain how this all happened? So as long as the storytelling in the films is not compromised by the canon, then I'm totally cool with everything being canon. Make as many Star Wars products as you want, because it's a great universe to immerse yourself
Yeah,
in.
like your concern about will it compromise the viewers going to go see the new movies.
Yeah.
My concern is our future directors of these films going to be creatively handcuffed, because now they not only have to stay consistent with the movies, they have to stay consistent with 300 issues of comic books and 45 novels and blah, blah, blah. It just, I don't see a way out of it.
well, I do. The universe is endless. They're just going to have more and more, expansions. It's going to be the tale of Leia's second cousin's dog, or things like that. That's why they brought in a new team, Rebels. So then you've got a whole nother band of misfits that you can go into details with, and their families and their relationships. And then that'll go further and further. And then we might go back 5,000 years to Old Republic. Like, there's a lot of room to keep expanding upon.
But you can never contradict yourself.
Exactly.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.